Imagine a massive boulder is dropped into a lake, 3,000 miles away. You're standing on the shore of a small pond in the UK, just watching the little local ripples,
Right.
like local planning policies or domestic mortgage rules, and then suddenly a tidal wave washes over your boots.
Yeah, and it just completely catches you off guard.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into the latest notes from the London Property Digest. We really want to decode how the ongoing conflict in the Middle East is, well, drastically shifting the local UK housing market.
It's a really fast-moving ways, too. I mean, when a distant conflict flares up, it actually hits the UK doorstep through two invisible drags long before anyone sees a price change.
Okay, let's unpack this, because housing markets run on sentiment, right?
Completely. First is just pure confidence. Buyers need to believe the next decade is broadly stable. So when global tensions spike, that confidence just evaporates.
But wait, surely prices don't just, instantly drop because a buyer reads a bad headline. It's more of a, I guess, a standoff.
Yeah, it is.
Like, buyers get spooked and want a discount, but sellers absolutely refuse to lower their asking price.
Right, until they are basically forced to. That behavioral standoff is the actual root of the freeze. What's fascinating here is that the absolute first sign of market stress isn't a price crash. It's deals drying up.
Which the digest specifically points out.
They do. They note that in prime central London, properties are currently sitting on the market for an average of 40 days longer than last year before the seller drops the price a single pound.
Wow, 40 days. Okay, I buy the confidence argument causing a freeze. But what about the second drag? Are we really saying a localized overseas conflict is the main reason UK mortgage rates are stalling?
It's a massive piece of the puzzle.
Like, isn't domestic inflation playing just as big a role?
Well, domestic inflation is a factor, sure,
Yeah.
but energy prices are the main transmission line here. As we know, Middle East conflicts historically push oil and gas up, which means sticky inflation.
And stalled mortgage relief.
It's exactly. The issue right now is that this global energy spike threatens to delay the drop in mortgage rates that the UK market desperately needs, especially after the brutal rate shocks of the last couple of years.
Here's where it gets really interesting, creating this bizarre paradox. Domestic buyers are getting crushed by sticky mortgage rates, but foreign buyers are looking at prime London real estate as, I don't know, a luxury global panic room.
Very, very expensive panic room, yes. London essentially operates as a dual market. I mean, it's a domestic housing market, but it's also a global capital safe haven.
Right.
During international crises, ultra-high net worth buyers flood into prime London real estate. They want capital preservation and geographic mobility. They're drawn by the strong rule of law and deep financial markets.
But hang on, if I'm an ultra high net worth buyer, I'm not just looking at London anymore. Before we talk about competitors like Dubai or Milan, let's look at the recent UK tax changes. The digest mentions the non-dom regime really weakening London's edge.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that is the core issue. Historically, individuals with non-domiciled status living in the UK only paid UK tax on the income they brought into the country, not on their worldwide wealth.
Right, so remind us how the overhaul alters the math. Are these buyers suddenly facing massive tax bills on their global wealth just for, owning a townhouse in Mayfair?
Yeah, that shield is eroding fast. Parking your capital in a London mansion now comes with a much higher potential tax exposure on your global assets.
Ah, so that's why global capital is fiercely weighing London against places like Dubai or Milan?
Precisely. Those cities are actively structuring their tax laws to poach these exact panic room buyers. The competitive landscape is sharper than ever.
Right, which means if you are trying to read this market, you have to look past your local neighborhood. So how do you see those boulders falling before the splash hits you? What should you, the listener, watch out for?
There are three main indicators to watch. First, stalling mortgage rate declines tied to those global energy costs.
Yeah.
Second, falling transaction volumes. Again, watch for deals drying up and properties sitting for that extra 40 days.
Right, long before economists actually see prices drop.
Exactly. And third, look for resilient international buyer activity in prime areas, even as the rest of the domestic market cools down. Because real estate is no longer just local. It is a global risk map.
It really is.
Yeah, understanding how international crises dictate local prices gives you a massive analytical edge over people who only obsess over local data. The global creates the local. You just can't separate them anymore.
So what does this all mean for you? If you're watching the housing market, geopolitical stability, energy costs, and international tax policies are the true hidden drivers of house prices right now.
Spot on.
Which leaves you with a final thought to mull over today. Think about this. If the top tier of London's housing market is increasingly propped up by global wealth seeking a panic room from worldwide instability,
Right.
what would actually happen to local property values if the rest of the world suddenly became completely peaceful?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. If nobody was throwing boulders into our local pond anymore, where would the water level actually settle? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.